My name is Mark Watts. I am Director of Energy and Climate Change Strategy, and I primarily work with city governments on energy and climate change policy. I joined Arup about 2 years ago now, but prior to that, for 8 years I was an advisor to the former Mayor of London, Ken Livingstone. The C40 reports flow out of the work we've been doing in 6 of the C40 cities over the last 2 years, one in each of the 6 continents where the C40 has members. They're a focus on a small number of subjects which we see as being critical to delivering on climate change strategies in pretty much all of the C40 cities, and we're trying to draw the lessons from working in a small number of places that can be relevant to all of the C40 cities and indeed much beyond them. We provide first of all a piece of research and analysis into that issue, then secondly bring together the senior officials of the city in a 2-day workshop to build capacity and understanding around how to tackle that issue, which is then followed up with detailed recommendations from Arup about what the Mayor should do to resolve the problems identified. The sort of solutions that we've posed vary greatly depending on the subject and the city, but in Ho Chi Minh, for example, where we were looking at the issue of water resilience and flood resilience, we first of all looked at what the city could do to better capture and store water, greater permeability of the road and street surfaces within the city. But then we also looked at the really big infrastructure and then the broader planning issues. How should the city develop over the next few years? How might it have to be redesigned so that there is less vulnerability to flooding and a higher quality of living standards in a city which is growing very rapidly and where the economy is growing equally rapidly? Well, I think Arup was chosen from amongst the many firms that were interested with working with the C40 because we can bring together 2 things. The first is an almost unparalleled understanding of the major infrastructure of a city, the nuts and bolts that really make it work, but map that to also having an understanding of how the political administration works. What are the needs of the policymakers and how does policy need to be framed in order that technical experts then can deliver solutions that will really change that city for the better. The really interesting thing when you look at the C40 cities is that despite their apparent diversity, in fact there's much more that unites them than divides them in the context of climate change. So when you get to a city of a size of 3 million people or so, which is the barrier for entry, if you like, into the C40, there are certain things they all require. And actually it's being able to focus on the things that are generic to all of the major cities, which is where we can have the most impact in working with the C40 cities, so that we take our experience of best practice in one part of the world and can then apply it in albeit in a different context somewhere else in the world.